Hello, everybody. How are we today? Welcome to conversation class. Hello. Let's see who's going to join us today. Hello. All right. It is working. I just wanted to make sure. Okay, my friends. Where are you joining from today? All right, let's share here. Welcome. Okay. Welcome to conversation class, everybody. This is our first conversation class after a small break. We at Approach have been holding the conversation class for almost 5 years now. And this class has been an amazing class where we have been able to meet people from around the world. And it's a great opportunity to practice your English. So I would love to have you type in the chat. Where are you joining from? Let's see. Let us know in the chat. Where are you joining from? I'm going to check here. Let's see. Where are you joining from? I don't want my volume. Thank you. From Turkey. Asuman from Turkey. Amazing. Welcome. Where else are we joining from? I'm joining from Boston, Massachusetts. Where are we joining from? Where are you from? Where are we joining from today? Let's see, I'm so sorry. Thank you. All right, my friends. Okay. Who do we have? I'm trying to see who else is joining us here today. Give me one moment. Thank you. Of course, you're welcome. Anytime. We love to have the conversation class, and I really enjoy giving this class and meeting people from around the world. It's been amazing. Today, we're going to talk about travel and our dream travel destination and where we have traveled before. So definitely let me know, what is your favorite place that you have traveled? I'm going to share my slides again here. What is your favorite place you have visited? Do you enjoy traveling? Personally, I love traveling. I think traveling is amazing, and it's something that I need to do more. Do you travel a lot or do you travel sometimes? Do you enjoy traveling? Type in the chat. Do you like to travel? What is your favorite place you have visited? Okay. Let me know in the chat here. Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, Azuman, you don't travel often, but you love traveling? That's amazing. That's awesome. So, what you can do is make a plan, maybe a savings fund for traveling in the future. One of my favorite places that I have visited, I have only traveled actually in United States, which is a little crazy, but one of my favorite places that I have visited is I went to Los Angeles and I went to the Warner Brothers studio. And this was a really cool place. It had all of the movie scenes. Warner Brothers is the production company. And it was so cool. I loved it. So think about it. What is your favorite place you have visited? Think about it and we'll come back to it. Asuman, the best place I have ever been to was Mecca. Amazing, amazing, amazing. So I want to ask you, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? What is your dream travel destination? You want to think about if you had no limit with money, if you could go anywhere, where would you go? I would go to, good question, New Zealand, the country New Zealand. Personally, I love The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, which were set in New Zealand. I would also love to visit Brazil. I would love to visit Italy, Australia. There's a lot of places. I would love to visit the 7 wonders of the world. So if you could go anywhere, type in the chat. Let us know. Where would you go? What is your dream travel destination? And when you think about this, you can make this a reality. This can be real for you. A dream does not mean a dream forever. You want to put your mind, make your goal this travel, and you can do it. Don't limit yourself. All right. I have some vocabulary and some expressions that I want us to cover today. I have 5 words here, 6 almost, and I have some more on the next slide. The first word that is pretty important is itinerary. Itinerary. An itinerary is a planned route or journey. It is your plan for your vacation. For example, I will drive from New York to Florida. It can also be the schedule of your vacation, of your travel. For example, on Monday, I will visit Christ the Redeemer. On Tuesday, I will visit the beach, and your different plans. So we use the word itinerary. The next word I have is destination. That is the place you're going to, the place that you will travel. Your destination is Disney World. destination. Accommodation. Accommodation. They're places to stay. Hotels, hostels. It could be Airbnb, a house. Accommodation. Accommodation. Transportation. Transportation. The method of travel. How you will travel. Will you travel by plane, by train, by car? Will you take a bus? What do you prefer? Do you prefer to travel by plane, by train, car? What do you prefer? Asuman, how can we use itinerary in a sentence? Very good question. I can give you that. We planned our itinerary, or we built our itinerary for 1 week vacation. We use it as a noun. Very good, very good. So what is your favorite method of transportation for travel? Personally, I think traveling by plane, if you're going a further distance, is maybe the fastest. Sometimes not always. Sometimes your plane is delayed or canceled, or you spend a lot of time in the airport. It depends. But it can be faster than driving a long distance. Have you ever taken the train a long distance? We have a subway in the city, but we also have trains for long distance for travel. And a car. You can take a road trip. That is one of our favorite things to do here in the United States, is take a road trip. You can drive so far in this country, and I'm sure you can at home too. So take a road trip, drive with your friends or your family in the car, and this is more flexible because it's your plan and your time. A plane, a train, a bus, they have a schedule, but a car, you can drive anytime. So, not so bad. You could even rent a car. When you travel, you often can rent a car if you've flown. So when my family, we flew from Massachusetts to California in the United States, we flew on the plane and then we rented a car in California. So think about it. What is your favorite? Asuman, you said by plane, it's the fastest. Yes, it is. It is. And the last two words here, they go together. Luggage or baggage. So when you are packing your bags, your luggage, you need to pack your suitcases. The pronunciation here is suitcases and bags. So on an airplane, you maybe have a limit of certain pounds or kilograms for your luggage. And if it's more than that, for example, in the United States, many is 50 pounds. And if it's more than that, you might have to pay more money. So sometimes they lose your luggage. That's horrible. I hope that never happens to you. But sometimes your luggage can get lost. Both of these words are used pretty commonly, luggage or baggage. Both of them I've heard very commonly, especially in the airport, especially when you're traveling. So what I think you guys should do, you really should try to use these words in a sentence. Try your best, practice your pronunciation, and write down these words for later so that you don't forget. And try to use them all in a sentence. And then something that can help you is if you have a teacher that can check, amazing. If you don't have a teacher that can help you, you can use something like ChatGPT or Google Gemini to check your sentences as well. So try to use all of these words in sentences, because alone, it doesn't give you so much information. But when you use the word in a sentence, then you can really understand the full context of the word. So, for example, we need to book accommodation for our trip to Europe. My favorite method of transportation is by plane. You have arrived at your destination. Itinerary, I gave a sentence. We built our itinerary for our 1-week vacation. Luggage. They lost my luggage in the airport. You can try to put a little emotion in there too. Okay, let's see. We also have some more vocabulary. Passport. I think we're all very familiar with this. If you want to travel internationally, you need a passport. I need a passport. I don't have one. It's crazy. It's my 2025 resolution. So a passport is a little book that you have from your country so that you can travel to another country. They check your document, they stamp it, and when you're in the other country, it's very important as your identification. Tourist or traveler is a person who travels. So you can be a tourist in a different country. You can be a tourist in your own country. Again, in the United States, we're a very large country. I can be a tourist in my own city, and I can learn so much. So tourist or tourists, plural, a little difficult pronunciation sometimes because ISTS, tourists, or traveler, travelers. Asuman. Having too much luggage is always, you pay more if you go over the limited luggage weight. Exactly. Good sentences, good sentences. Currency is the money that is used in the country. In the United States, we have the US dollar. I see here there's the British pound. I think this is yen. There is the euro. What is the money in your country? What do they have? What money do they use in your country? Let me know. I know that some people collect money from another country. They go to a country and travel, they exchange their money, and then they return, and the money can't be used in the different country, and you can keep it. My grandmother gave me money from when she traveled from Trinidad and Tobago, an African country that I don't remember exactly, but I've seen Saudi Arabian reals, Brazilian reais. There's a lot of different Chinese yen. Seen a lot of different money. Canadian dollars. So the Turkish lira, sorry if my pronunciation is not so great. Amazing. So you might have to exchange currency. Exchange. Souvenir. I have a little souvenir here. This is a keychain. So when you travel, you have to buy something that reminds you of the trip. You need to get a keychain, a t-shirt, a coffee mug, a magnet for the fridge, a hat, anything. A Christmas tree ornament. If you go into a souvenir shop, you can find so many little trinkets, items that you can buy to remind you of your trip. I know people who collect many different souvenirs. I know someone that has so many keychains like this here, keychain. I personally like to have coffee mugs, I drink tea, or a t-shirt to remind me of my trip. So next time you go on a trip, buy a souvenir. All right. Vacation and holiday. So in United States, we normally say, I'm going to take a vacation. I know that in England, in some other English-speaking countries, they'll say holiday. I want to talk a little bit about the difference with the United States and for example, England. Holiday in United States is really just a national holiday, such as Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. Holiday in England means vacation. I will take a holiday. So we don't say that in the United States. We say, I will take a vacation. But if you're in England, Australia, Canada even, you could say holiday. So when was your last vacation? I hope you have another one soon. You deserve a vacation. It is so nice to have. Here in the United States, we have some holidays coming where we will have a vacation. We have Veterans Day is coming this Tuesday. We also have Thanksgiving coming in a few weeks. And so it's a Thanksgiving holiday and we will have a vacation, a break as well. So think about your next vacation. Get a vacation fund ready. Start saving some money for your vacation. Think about how you want to travel, where you want to travel. So again, like the last slide, try using all of these words in a sentence. Not the same sentence. You could if you wanted, but try to use passport. My passport was stamped. Tourist. This place is a tourist attraction. Currency. What is the currency in this country? Souvenir. Look at this souvenir I just bought. Vacation. My next vacation will be to England. Try using them all. Sue, you collect keychains? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I also have some travel expressions for us. So there are so many expressions that we can use if you're in the airport, if you're on the bus, on the train, outside, anywhere. I just chose some essential ones that you could use. But these are some different expressions in English that you can use when trying to speak with someone. We have some questions, we have some statements. So to begin, where do I go? How do I get to blank? Excuse me, which is polite. Excuse me, how do I get to the mall from here? Excuse me, how do I get to the Vatican? Excuse me, how do I get to the pyramids of Giza? It could be any place, but how do I get to? Where is? It's asking for directions. I'd like to make a reservation. So this could be at a restaurant. This could be at a hotel. This could be in any place that takes a reservation. But I'd. This is a good opportunity to practice reductions and contractions in English. I'd. I would like to make a reservation. I'd like to make a reservation. This can be on the phone. This can be in person. If you're going to sit, for example, on a bus, on a bench, is this seat taken? You see an empty seat and you want to sit there, but maybe somebody is sitting there and they got up. Is this seat taken? You can also say, excuse me, is this seat taken? And when you say this, because it's a question, you're raising your intonation. Is this seat taken? Can I have the bill, please? We can also say check. Can I have the check, please? Both are totally acceptable. You can choose either one. It becomes a personal preference. But you can say bill, you can say check. When you're at a restaurant and you finish your food, can I have the bill, please? How much does this cost? When you're at a store, maybe there's no price tag. Maybe you're traveling and you're in a market. How much does this cost? How much does this cost? If you're in the airport and you realize your luggage is not going through the vending belt, I think my luggage is missing. And again, trying to put some emotion there. I think my luggage is missing. That's not good. I hope it's not missing. You could say here, as we used the other word, baggage. I think my baggage is missing. I think my suitcase is missing. Those are all options. I don't have anything to declare. This is when you're going through customs and immigration in the airport, and they ask if you have anything that you've taken with you. Maybe it's food, maybe it's objects. I don't have anything to declare. That is something that you use really specifically at, I would say, the airport customs. I don't have anything to declare. Now, like I said, there are a lot of expressions that we could add to this list. These are just some ideas to get you thinking. Are there any other expressions that we could add? I think we could definitely add some. Take a minute, think about it. Think what you've heard when you traveled before. Did you hear something in English, or did you use a sentence, an expression for travel? We have a lot of vocabulary that we could exchange. For example, accommodation. We could try to have an expression with accommodation. I'm looking for a nearby accommodation. I'm looking for a nearby accommodation. So maybe you are looking for a hotel that is close, nearby to your area. Destination. We had the expression, you've arrived at your destination. This is what we hear from a GPS or someone in the airplane, the pilot in the airplane. We have arrived at our destination. Are there any other expressions that we could add? We have all of these. Passport. What about passport? That's a good one. I need to get my passport. Perfect. Perfect. So, I have some questions for you. Remember these expressions, and then we can connect them to these questions. So, culture shock. What is culture shock? Many of us have experienced it in different ways. Many of us have learned cultures are different. Countries have different ways of different systems. It's not a good explanation, sorry about that. But when you travel to the United States, or if I travel to your country for the first time, I might experience some culture shock. Culture that is shocking, surprising, different. We can see this expression here of shock on her face. So if you travel, for example, to another country and they are really just so different from what you could say. For example, in a country that maybe eats more food commonly sitting or with hands, that can be different. Kisses on the cheek, personal space, looking in the eyes. Those are all different culture shock experiences. Something that for me, I'm American and my husband is Brazilian and my family is cross-cultural. And we've experienced culture shock not even while traveling, just within our own home, of the different ways that we do things or the different norms that we learned growing up is so different. I know that, for example, Brazilians and many other cultures, people are very warm and open. They hug you. They want to give you a kiss on the cheek. And Americans are maybe more reserved in that sense. Many Americans have been distanced from people. Not always, but that is something that when a Brazilian came and hugged me and kissed me on the cheek, I was like, whoa. But it's normal. It's just different. Different is not bad. So think about your experiences when you've traveled somewhere different and you've noticed something that shocked you, but is just their culture. We have to be open-minded when we are going to another country, that it's going to be different, most likely. Even if it's a similar country, I think United States and Canada, we're not the same. And there's still going to be some differences in culture shock. For example, in Canada, they have a lot of French. And many of their groceries in the store have French on one side and English on the other. But in the United States, we do not have that. So even small things, you have to be open-minded. It's very important. So type in the chat if you're able to. Have you ever experienced culture shock while traveling? Let me know. Let me know. Because everybody experiences that. And then, for example, if you live in the country, if you come and live in the United States, you maybe experience a lot of culture shock. And then if you live in another country for a long time, and then you go back to your home country, you can experience reverse culture shock, which is even different. You feel a culture shock of your own country and the old country. And that is definitely something that many people experience. Have you ever gotten lost while traveling? I hope not, but it can be common. Now we have phones, we have GPS, but what if your phone dies? What if you have no signal? Do you have a map? Can you read a map? Is the map in a different language? Have you ever gotten lost while traveling? I have gotten lost not traveling, so I have definitely gotten lost while traveling. I think mostly while driving. Walking around a city, no, it's usually not bad. I have my GPS on my phone. But when I am driving, then I could get lost. Every city has different designs of their roads. There are some that are very organized. There are some that are very different. And it can be very easy to get lost, for example, in Boston. In Boston, wow, it is easy to get lost sometimes, not always, if you're driving. So, have you ever gotten lost while traveling? Did you have a map? Did you ask for directions? What did you do? Did you feel comfortable speaking to someone and saying, "Hi, I'm lost," or "Hi, can you help me? I'm lost." There's always somebody that is happy to help, always. You can even enter a local business if you are near a business and ask for directions. Your essential phrases like, "How do I get to?" And even something, "How do I get to?" "Where is?" "How do I get to?" "Can you tell me where blank is?" I see here. Oh, Asuman, I see your comment. It's also normal in Turkey to hug, but it's not acceptable if couples kiss each other within the lips. This is a culture shock. Definitely. Especially with kissing, it can be a culture shock. Thank you for sharing. So, have you ever gotten lost while traveling? I hope not, but if you do, you can have some essential phrases to help you. You can have phrases like, "How do I get to?" And that can help a lot. So it's really important to not be afraid to ask for help in these situations. It's normal to get lost when you're in a place you've never visited. It's not worth it. It's not really so much pressure to ask someone. They want to help. And don't be afraid to ask for help if you're lost. All right. Do you prefer traveling alone or with family or friends? Or maybe both? I prefer to travel with my family and my friends, not alone. I like to share the experience with someone, but I definitely can see the advantages and disadvantages of both sides, traveling alone or with family and friends. Traveling alone, you can do whatever you want. You can go anywhere you want. You follow your schedule. You are the boss. But you're alone. You're not sharing the experience with anybody. Maybe there's no one to talk to, not forever. You could maybe talk to many people and meet people. But I definitely prefer to travel with my family and my friends. I really enjoy sharing that experience together and making those memories together. Going to lots of fun places. And also, maybe sometimes you or your friend, family is like a tour guide, where if I was going to travel to a new country, I don't think I would want to travel alone. I would maybe want to travel with someone that I know from that country, for example, Brazil. If I was to visit Brazil, I would definitely travel with my family. If I was to visit a more English-speaking country like England, maybe I wouldn't worry so much. But I think if you're traveling to a different country, it's not always sometimes safe even to travel alone, or you have to be very careful. So traveling with family and friends, I see Asuman, I prefer traveling with someone, Yuri with my family and friends. Exactly. It's so important to travel with somebody, in my opinion. This is a good time to talk about preferences and opinions. In my opinion, I think it's important to travel with family or friends. Maybe in your opinion, you prefer traveling alone. There's nothing wrong with either preference, but definitely, traveling with family and friends is another experience. So, have you ever traveled in a large group before? I have only traveled in my family group, like a small 4, 5, 6 people. One time I traveled in a larger group and like multiple family members. And that was interesting. I think that's when you get to know your family the most. Have you ever had some interesting experiences traveling with your family? Sometimes, for example, a brother and a sister are like, oh my God, you're so annoying. Or the mom and the children are arguing. If you're traveling with children, that is a completely different story. If you're traveling with young children, you really you need to be prepared, which is very normal for many parents to travel with their children. But I know it can be stressful. And traveling with children is so exciting for them, but not always for the parents. I know that traveling alone can be much easier sometimes in that regard. But traveling with children is not easy, but it is good memories for them, definitely. I remember with my family having so many good memories with my parents traveling around the United States. I have visited many of the New England states, as we're here in New England, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, Connecticut, Rhode Island. And I've also traveled in many other states in the United States. We took a lot of road trips when I was a kid. And I have so many good memories of traveling with my family, and I have some funny memories of traveling with my family. In my family, it's interesting because it was me and my sister and 2 of my brothers, and I think we argued all the time. And my poor parents were probably like, I want a vacation by myself with no kids. Sometimes it's very necessary to have a vacation with no kids, but definitely it can be stressful. At the same time, it can be so fun and you can have some really amazing times together. I went camping with my family many times. We went on road trips to South Carolina, which is a long drive from Massachusetts, and to Florida, which is even longer. And traveling to California with my family. I've traveled to Arizona to visit family. And it really has been great memories. And I'm the person that takes a million pictures during my travel and always taking pictures of my family and my friends. I see Sue. Usually my partner is the one who plans the trip. I just go with the flow. Very good phrase, go with the flow. Definitely. Some people, for example, I think my husband, he could plan our whole travel and I would say, okay. But also I could plan the whole travel and he could say, okay. I think that sometimes there's a good meme on TikTok that this makes me think of is, hi, my name's Ellen. I bought the tickets. And then, hi, my name's Joe. Hi, my name's Ellen. I booked the hotel. So the idea of one partner booking everything, planning everything. Asuman, can you please tell the funniest one? Ooh, that's a good one. A really funny one, I believe for me truly was when my family and I went to California, because there was one night that, number one, we were in a very large rental van. I said we rented a car. Let me go back to so you can see my face here, my friends. That's what would be good for us here. There we go. When I went to Los Angeles with my family, it was a large group. My family is 6 of us, plus my brother's wife, so that was 7, and then 2, 4, 6 more people. It was a lot of people. And we had this large rental van, like a working van, and it was long. And my stepmom's brother, my uncle, was driving the van like a crazy guy, first of all, which was like, oh my God, are we going to survive this? And then we had just one music in the car. We did not have a radio, really. The radio was not good. And we couldn't plug in our phone. So we had one CD in the car, CD-ROM, one CD, Elton John. Do you know Elton John? The British singer. Elton John CD. So for 1 week in this van with like 15 people, we listened to Elton John all day, every day. All day. It was crazy. Like, oh my God, is there another music that we can listen to? And then one night we went to dinner, and it was a very interesting like pirate show dinner. It was really cool. And they had some alcohol. My dad had some alcohol. And usually my dad is quite calm. He will have a beer or two, but he doesn't go crazy. And I think the drinks were strong or something because my dad got a little drunk. And he was really funny because of that. He was like, let's take a picture with a mermaid. We get back in the car to go home, and the Elton John is playing. And my dad is just singing the Elton John. It was so funny. Like, I never saw my dad like that. And he really was kind of relaxed on his vacation and trying to enjoy. And that's a moment that, like, me and my sister and my brothers, the family, we still talk about because it was funny. So that was a really funny time on vacation. I think I will never forget that, maybe. It was really funny. Sue, I love Elton John. Yes, exactly. We do too now. Every time I hear Elton John, I think about this trip. I think about my dad. So it really can bring memories. I also remember some pretty big things, like, for example, seeing the Chinese theater. In Los Angeles, there's the Chinese theater, and that is the theater, movie theater, cinema, where many movies are have their premiere, their first showing. And so seeing that, and they have, if you look at pictures, there's handprints, and that was so cool. Seeing all this history, the Warner Brothers studio, as I mentioned, that trip was really cool. I took that trip in 2019, so it's been 6 years. I need to go again. So what was your funniest moment of your vacation? Tell me. You have a funny moment from your vacation? I would love to hear it. Oh, I know it would be awesome. And I was expecting that you listened to Elton John in the restaurant as well. I know, that would have been perfect. It would have been. But no, the restaurant was cool. It just was different. So here, I'm going to go back to my slides because I had one more slide of questions that I wanted to ask you. Packing and traveling. Do you prefer to travel light, or do you pack everything that you might need? When packing your suitcase, do you pack a lot of clothes or a little bit of clothes? Me, I pack a lot of clothes. My family would make fun of me because I would bring 7 pairs of shoes, and for 1 week, it's like, you don't need 7 pairs of shoes, girl. So I packed way too heavy when I was younger. Now, as I got older, I learned better and I travel more lighter, you could say. Some people can travel with just a carry-on. When you go on the airplane, you have the option of a carry-on and checked bags, your suitcase, your luggage. Some people have just a carry-on and they can travel so light. I think that is a superpower. So, do you pack a lot? Do you have so many suitcases and so many bags? Or do you have just one bag? Maybe one carry-on if you need. Nothing crazy. Not 7 pairs of shoes like me. I see Sue said in the chat, once we took the wrong train in Poland and we ended up in a small village far from the city, getting lost while traveling. Funny story. Wow. That sounds like an interesting experience to kind of discover a new place on accident. I think that's amazing. That's really a cool experience. So think about your next trip and what you need to pack. Do you make a list of all the things before you pack, or do you pack last minute right away? Personally, I like to pack before. I don't like to pack last minute. I like to check all of my clothes, anything that I need for the bathroom, my shower, my hair, and shoes. Now I maybe bring 2 pairs of shoes, and that's much better. Asuman, although I try to travel light, I can't manage it. Me too. That's how I feel. Exactly. Do you guys have any advice for traveling on a budget? Do we know what this means? On a budget? On a budget is cheaper, not so expensive. Do you have any advice for traveling on a budget? For example, thinking about food. Wow, food on vacation can be expensive. Food can be so expensive. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. If you have a hotel with a small kitchen, if you have an Airbnb, buy groceries and cook some food at home. Plan your dinners out for a special night of vacation. If you have all the money in the world, then you don't have to worry. But if you want to really save some money while traveling and not worry, oh my God, this vacation is so expensive, make your own food. Definitely cook your own food. Also, if you can walk, if the city has more walking versus Uber, train, bus ticket, if you're in a walkable city, that is great. That can help. You don't need to walk all places every day, but if you can walk, maybe you should. And it's good for your body too, we know. So definitely try to cook for yourself, walk when you can. You can try to check when you're trying to reserve your accommodation, when you're trying to book a hotel or an Airbnb, try to check different days of the week to see cheaper prices. The same for a plane ticket. Traveling near, for example, a large holiday time, Christmas, Thanksgiving, the tickets will be very expensive. But if you fly on a Wednesday or a Tuesday, it might be better. So paying attention to the prices of tickets is very helpful. And maybe you can find even some coupons for hotel. Maybe you can stay in a hostel. Have you ever stayed in a hostel before? I have not, but I have visited a hostel before. And it's very interesting. It's really not bad at all, especially when you're traveling by yourself and you don't need to spend a lot of money on a big room, a bed. You can rent a space, a bed in a hostel, and it's much cheaper, and you can meet a lot of people. It's very cool. So those are some different things you can do to travel on a budget. My last question for you. Do you prefer to explore cities or nature when you travel? And why? I prefer nature because I spent a lot of time in nature before. That's what my dad likes to do, and that's what we would do for our vacations is a lot of, I said, camping and going to the beach. But I do like to explore the cities. Exploring Los Angeles was very interesting. In Florida, I have been to Tampa, I have been to Orlando, I have been to South Carolina, different cities, Charleston, and the cities are nice. I really enjoy learning about the history, but I prefer traveling in nature. Asuman, I love nature. Exactly. I think traveling in nature is the most important thing we can do to see our planet. I think that there are so many beautiful places on this earth, so many. And exploring a city is awesome, and exploring in nature, a different area in nature, is awesome. So the next travel that you plan, the next vacation, think about what you want to do. Do you want to travel in a city? Do you want to go to somewhere more in nature, in the woods? Maybe in anywhere in nature. It doesn't have to be in the woods. And are you going to be on a budget? Are you going to plan to cook for yourself at all? Are you going to try to find cheaper tickets if you can? Are you going to travel light? Are you going to travel with a lot of things? Do you want to make sure you have everything that you need? Or do you want to make sure that you say, I'm okay, I don't need everything? That's a good way to think. I want you to think about these things as you are here with us today. I'm going to come back to my face for you. When you're traveling, there are so many different situations that can occur. You could get lost. Someone could ask you for directions. You could be wanting to find different food and water. Learning the word for water in the country that you're visiting is a good word to learn. And being cautious of your surroundings, always paying attention to where you go. Traveling with intention, thinking about it before. But if you like to go with the flow, I think that's also really awesome. Some people but go on a last minute impromptu vacation. And in this vacation, they just do whatever they feel is good in that moment. And I think that's also very important, to follow your heart. Asuman, can I ask a question? Of course you can ask a question. Of course. Whenever you are able to, you can. So think about your next travel. I want to hear about it. My friends, thank you for joining. I'm not closing just yet. Don't worry. I just want to say thank you so much. This was awesome. It's so good to be back. And keep watching our emails, our updates. We will send information about future classes, future topics. I will be here to teach them. It was really amazing to have you all here. I really appreciate you all engaging in the chat so that I can talk with you here too. You're welcome to talk in the chat as much as you want. Asuman, will we have a Zoom meeting? I'm not 100% sure, but we will give more information soon. Don't worry. But we're always here on YouTube. And what you can do, you can access this live after. So if you follow our Approach International Student Center YouTube, you can watch this class again anytime. And you can watch previous classes. Our YouTube channel has so many videos to help you learn English. So this is just one of many opportunities. I really thank you all for being here today. This was amazing. Thank you so, so much. I hope to see you again next week. Thank you so much. Bye.